Alright, welcome to Do You Know AGL YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be treating many questions on indices. Not just questions, Waec past questions on indices. And if this is your first time here, I want to tell you that we've actually solved many questions on logarithm. We've solved questions on algebra, on simultaneous, add simultaneous equation. So if you'd like to get notified when we solve more questions, or you would like to get those videos, you can check the description section and also click the subscribe button, that red subscribe button that is below this very video, and also click the notification bell so that you will not be left behind when we upload more videos like that, and you'll be able to pass your Waec this year. Now, I would like to remind us that if you have something like 2 raised to power 1 minus a, you see the same thing as what? It's the same thing as 2 raised to power 1 divided by 2 raised to power a. And if you also have something like this, if you also have something like 2 raised to power 1 plus a, it's the same thing as what? It's the same thing as 2 raised to power 1 times what? Times 2 raised to power what? 2 raised to power a. So just note that, because we'll be using this throughout this very section. Now let's solve it. So if you can actually write it as what? 2 raised to power 1 minus y, you will now add, it is plus because what? We can see multiplication there, right? So if you write plus, you must put it into brackets, don't forget. So that will be y minus 1. This thing could cost you your mark, so try to put into brackets. Now, because there is divide there, you write what? You write minus. That division will change to minus. You know what? That will be minus y plus 2. That one into bracket as well. Then you would write what? You would write equals to what? Equals to 8 whole number 2 minus 3y. Now, I would like you to note this. We have 8 here, right, as the base. We have 2 also here as the base. Now, we can actually do what? We can actually make this very 8 to be what? In terms of 2. If you change it very well, you say that it can be in terms of 2. That would be what? 2 times 2 times 2. That's exactly what? That's 2 raised to power. That's 2 raised to power 3. Just write. You say that what? It is 2 raised to power 3. 2 times 2 will give us 4. 4 times 2 will give you 8. Exactly. So that means we can actually write this very thing as what? Let me write it. We would have 2 what? 2 1 minus 1 okay, into bracket. You can put that into bracket now, plus y minus 1 now minus into bracket y plus 2 now would what? Would put equals to 2 raised to power 3 into bracket. That's exactly what I was saying before. 2 minus what? 2 minus 3 what? 2 minus 3y. Now that means that what? We can actually cancel this very 2 here, and what? We can actually cancel this very 2 here. You see, it's simpler now. Now we can rewrite this as what? We can write it as 1 minus what? 1 minus y. You know that it's a bracket, right? So we would what? Would put plus what? Plus into bracket y minus 1. So minus what? Minus y plus 2. Now you write what? You would write equals to what? Equals to 2 minus 3y. Now let's open the bracket. To do this, we will write what? 1 minus y. Okay, that will be plus, also plus y minus 1. Now, because we have minus here, we must multiply all through the bracket by minus. That will give us what? Minus y, and we will also have minus 2. And now everything will be equals to what? Everything will be equals to 2 times 3 will give us what? 6 minus, now 3 times 3, that's 3y times 3 will give us what? Minus 9y. Now this one would cancel what? Would cancel minus 1. So note that. And this very plus y will also cancel what? Minus y. And okay, so now let's rewrite the rest. The rest will be what? The rest will be minus y minus 2 equals to what? Equals to what we can see here. That's 6 minus 9y. Now let's solve this. If we should solve this, let's collect like terms. That's what? Minus y plus 9y. That will be equals to what? Equals to 2 plus what? Plus 6. If you actually take 2 to the other side, you get it. You get that, and that will give us our final answer to be what? To be 8y equals to 8, and y will be equals to what? Y will be equals to 1. Now, before we continue with other questions, I would like to tell you that what we just solved was 2009 mathematics theory question 1B. Don't also forget that I'll be uploading more videos like this. So if you've not subscribed to this very channel, you can see that very subscribe button below this very video. Also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified. As you can see, these are some questions on indices, and I got these from what? Waec Mathematics past questions. And as I will be explaining these very questions, I would like you to what? I will be telling you the year in which I got this very question as well. There would be a little exercise here. The little exercise is that you would what? I would point out some questions that I would expect you to solve. Like I expect you to solve. So you would have to solve those questions and tell me the answer in the description section. Like in the comment section. You tell me the answers to those questions because I already solved those questions already. But I would like to know if you understand that very question. So I will know if I should make another video on it or you will need more explanation or things like that. You can just tell me in the comment section if you need more videos on that very aspect. So please do well to solve. If you can't solve everything, try to solve just one out of it so that I will know if you can actually understand this very thing I am dishing out. Now, this very question number one, the very question number one you can see here, I got it from what? From 1992. The first theory question you will see in 1992. And if you check this very question, you see that what? It looks similar to the first question we just solved. So I expect you to be able to solve this very question. And let me just tell you this. This very 81, you can make it to be in terms of 3. That will be 3 raised to power something. And this very 9 also, it could be what? In terms of something. That's 3 raised to power something. And with that, you'll be able to equate the base and you'll be able to solve the question. So tell me the answer in the comment section. Just specify the number. So don't do that very mistake to tell me the answer and not specify the answer, the question. So this very number 2 as well, if you check it, okay, let me quickly tell you how to solve this. This one also is just similar. You would have to what? Equate this very 9 to be what? 3 raised to power something, and this very 27 also to be 3 raised to power something, and after that you will equate the base to what? To solve the question. This very 9, okay, this very number 3. Let me see if I can solve this very number 3. I think I should solve this very number 3. Let me solve this very number 3. Oh, I didn't say this. This very question number 2, I got it from 1990, the first theory question in 1994. Now, to solve this very question, I want you to understand that 1 over this very 1 over what? 3 raised to power 5n is still the same thing as 3 minus 5n. Now, you can write the others as well. That's times 9 raised to power what? N minus 1, and then you would write what? Times 27 raised to power what? Raised to power n plus 1. Now, to solve this very question, you would get what? You would get okay, this very 3. You can also say 3 minus what? 3 minus 5n. Now you would what? You would multiply it with what? With 3 raised to power. You know this very 9. We can what? We can it's the same thing as 3 raised to power 3. Yeah, 3 raised to power 3. I said 3 raised to power 3. I'm sorry. It's the same thing as 3 raised to power 2. That's 3 times 3, right? So just write 3 raised to power 2. Now into brackets. This very what? N minus 1. Now you close the bracket. Now after you've closed the bracket, don't forget 27. Now to add this very 27, you know what? 27 is what? 3 times 3 times 3. That was what? 3 raised to power 3. So you write what? 3 raised to power 3 into bracket. The bracket what? N plus 1. Now, with this very thing we've gotten, you can actually what? You can actually add these very indices together. You know, this very multiplication will turn to what? To plus, like it will turn to addition. So you would get something like this. You would get 3 raised to power what? 3 raised to power minus 5n. Now you would have plus, because of the multiplication, it will turn to what? Plus. But if it is division, it will turn to what? Minus. You would have plus 2 into bracket n minus 1. Okay. You would have plus another what? Plus another 20. Like I said 27. Plus another 3 into brackets n plus 1. Now with this, you would have 3 into raised to power. Now we would have to open the bracket 5n. Now we would have what plus 2n minus 2. Okay, we would have plus 3n plus 3. And with this, you would have what? You would have your answers to be what? Let's add this very n together. If you should add minus 5n and what and 2n, you would get what minus 3n. Now let's add this very minus 3n with what 3n. That's 0, right? That minus would cancel plus. Now we have minus 2 here, right? So that very minus 2 would add it with what with this very 3 here. So if you add it, you will see that what the what this very minus would be removed out, and here you would have what you would have 1 as the answer. So that means 3 raised to power 1, and the answer is 3. Now imagine for you to be solving questions like this and you will see your answer to be 3. So come and see, that's mathematics for you. See this very big question. See this question, the one and after everything you would get your answer to be 3. Imagine. Now if you check this very question number 4, okay, I will solve this very question. Now we can rewrite this very 56x raised to power minus 4 as what? As 56 times x raised to power minus 4. Then you will divide by what? You divide by now it will be in brackets. That will be what? 14 times what? Times x raised to power what? X raised to power minus 8. Now close the brackets. Now let's start the simplification. Now to start this very simplification, we will write what? We write 56 times this very x raised to power minus 4. You include it. Then you would open the brackets. That will give us 14, and it will also be divided by what? It will also be divided by minus x raised to power what? Minus 8. Now after this, this very 56. If you check 56 and you check 14, you see that what they have something in common. That's 7. So we have to with this we can just divide this 56 by 14. So that will give you what? 56 over 14. That's the like times x raised to power minus 4. Now don't forget, if you have divide, it will turn to what? It will turn to minus, right? So that will be minus into bracket minus 8 close to bracket. This very minus, that's what you can. Okay, let me use another color. Yeah, this very divide here has already turned to what? Minus here, and this very minus 8 is what you can see in the bracket here. Now with that, if you actually divide this, you see that what? Divide this by 7, you would get what? You would get 8. Divide this by 7, you would get 2. Divide this by 2, you would get 1. Divide this by 2, you would get 4. Now with this, we can actually write our okay, that will be 4 times what? Times x raised to power. Now check, minus 4 minus into bracket minus 8. This very minus would what? Multiply this very minus, and then you would have to flip the minus sign. The very minus will be here, and the second minus also will be here, so it will turn to plus. Now you'll be left with what? You'll be left with plus 8, right? So that would give it be minus 4 plus 8, and that is what? That's the same thing as what? As x raised to power 4. Now that means our final answer would be what? Would be 4x raised to power what? Raised to power 4. Now I got this very question from Waec 1996 objective question 4. Now I expect you to be able to solve this very question number 5. I got this very question number 5 from 2000. 2000. That's the OBG question 29. That's in year 2000. And if you want to solve this very question, you can just do what? You can actually make this very 27 to be what? In terms of 3, and then this very 9 also in terms of 3, so that you can what? Equate the base. And that's all. That's 9 would be what? 3 raised to power 2, and this very 27 would be 3 raised to power 3. Now this very number 6 also, I will not solve it because you can also solve it, but try to solve it and tell me the answer in the description, in the comment section. This very question also is just similar to that. You can actually equate the base. That's what this very 9 would turn to what? Would turn to 3 raised to power 2, and you'll be able to solve it. That's 2 into bracket 2 minus what? minus this very x you can see here, and this very 3 will be what? 3 raised to power 1. So with that, you'll be able to solve it. You cancel this very 3 and you cancel the other. You would have what? You would have 3 raised to 3 into bracket. You would have something like 3 into bracket 2 minus x. Now that one will be equals to what? It will be equals to 1, because anything raised to power, anything like 4 like this, or if you see 5 like this, or if you see 6 like this, it's still the same thing as what? 6 raised to power 1. If you have 6 now, it's still the same thing as 6 raised to power 1. If you have 5, it's the same thing as 5 raised to power 1. If you have 10, it's the same thing as 10 raised to power 1, and just like that. Now let's see this very question 7. Okay, let me solve question 7. This very question 7. I think I would need to solve the question. Now we can write this as that's 3x cube. Okay, that's what you can actually see there. And you have bracket 3, right? 3x into bracket 3, right? So that means I would have to expand this very bracket. So that would give me something like this. That would give me something like 3x cube over now 3 raised to power 3, because this very 3 also, it has the what? It has the raised to power 3, and this very x also has the what? Raised to power 3. So that will be times x also raised to power 3. Now if you should solve this, you will see that what? You would see that you can actually cancel this x raised to power 3 and x raised to power 3 here. So after you've cancelled it, we are left with what? We are left with this very 3 over, you are left with 3 over 3 raised to power 3. Now with this, indices tells us that what? 3, anything like 3 now is still the same thing as 3 raised to power 1. Now you now have that 3 raised to power 1 and now divided by 3 raised to power 3, right? So that tells us that we can actually say 3 raised to power 1 minus 3. This is still the same thing as what? 3 raised to power minus 2. Now I want to tell you different ways in which you can write this very thing. It's still the same thing as what? You can write it as 9 raised to power minus 1. That's telling you, because 3 times 3 is what? 3 times 3 is 9. So that's 3 raised to power 2, right? But this one is 3 raised to power minus 2. So that means you can actually write 9 raised to power minus 1, or you write 1 over 9. Because anything raised to power minus 1, if you see anything like this, 9 raised 9 raised to power 1 minus 1, it's still the same thing as 1 over that thing, over this very 9. So you just write 9. And okay, you can actually solve it from this very side instead of solving it to that very extent. What you are going to do, I mean this very side, you can solve it from this very side. So how would you do that? What you would do is this. You just expand it. It is 3, right? 3 over, now 3 times 3 times 3 will give you what? 3 times 3 times 3. It's still the same thing as 3 raised to power 3. It will give us what? It will give us 27. That's 3 over 27. And if you divide this, you will get what? 3 raised to power 3 here 1, 3 here 9. So you can see that what? We can still get the same answer as we gotten here. Now, this is question number 7 of the objective question in 2007. Oh, this very question number 8, I didn't write it, like I didn't finish it. It should be question number 11, just like you can see here. So let's ignore this for now. This very question number 9, you see. Okay, can we actually solve this? That's 8 raised to power x plus 1. Okay, it's just what? It's just that let me just give you this. That's what? This very 8, you can actually say it's what? It's 2 raised to power something. 2 times 2 times 2 times like 2 into 3 places would give us 8. So that's 2 times 2 times 2. And after that, you would what? You would write this also. Should I solve it? No, I would like you to solve this. No, I won't solve it. Now, question number 10. This question number 10, you see, it's what? It's a question on simultaneous equation. Just like you applying indices in the sense of simultaneous equation. And this very question number 10 and 11, you can say that what? That's the same thing, exact thing you can see there. So I think we should solve question number. Which question should I solve? Okay, let me solve question number 11. So I would expect you to solve question number 10. Now, to solve this, what you are going to do is to what? Is to rewrite, you should make this very one equation 1, and should make this one equation 2. Now, let's start to solve this very question. From equation 1, from this very equation 1, the equation 1 you can see, we write this very thing. That's 9 into raised to power 1 minus x is equals to what? Equals to 27 raised to power y. Now, if you want to solve this, you would have it in sense of what? In sense of 3 raised to power 2. 9 is still the same thing as what? 3 times 3. So you can actually say 3 raised to power 2. So into bracket 1 minus what? Minus x. Now close the bracket. So after you've closed the bracket, the next thing you are going to do is to what? Is to write 27. Oh, okay. 27. You will not write 27. It is actually you actually write 3 times 3 times 3 will give us 27. So you actually write 3 raised to power what? 3 raised to power 3 y. Do you understand? Now with this you would have what? You can actually equate this. There's 3 here and there's 3 here. So you can actually equate it and you cut this very 3 away. This 3 would cut this very 3 here. So you would have your the next thing to be 2 into bracket 1 minus x into bracket. Now my equals to what? Equals to 3 into bracket y. Now to solve this very question, you would have your answer to be 2. You would have it to be 2 minus 2x. That's what you will times this 2 with 1, and you will times that 2 also with what? X. Equals to what? Equals to 3y. So I will tag this one equation what? Equation 3. Now let's rewrite the equation 3 here. So it will be what? 2 minus 2x. That would give us what? That will give us 3y. Now that means we can actually use these very two equations here. We got what? Equation 3 from equation 1. To solve this, I would like us to use substitution method. So this would lead us to what? This from equation 2. From this very equation 2. If you'd like me to do a video on simultaneous equation, you can tell me in the comment section, so I will be able to know if you really need that very video. Now that would give us what? That will give us x minus 1. Let me rewrite equation 1. X minus y equals to what? Equals to minus 1 into 1 whole number 1 over 2. Do you understand? Okay. Now if I should do this, I would have my x minus 1 to be what? X minus 1 will still be the same thing as if I should expand that mixed fraction. It's mixed, right? I can do one. It will be what? I can actually multiply this very 2 with 1. If I multiply it, I will get what? I would get 2, right? So I will add that very 2 with 1. I would get what? I would get minus 3 over 2. Then I would okay. I can now say x equals to what? X equals to, let me take y to the other side because I want to use substitution method for this very question. So it will be y minus what? Minus 3 over 2. So with this, I can actually call this equation what? Equation 4. Now from equation 3, this very equation you can see here. So from equation 3, I can actually write this very equation back. I would write 2 minus 2. Now let us substitute the value of this very x into equation what? Into equation 3. Now the value of x is equals to what? Equals to y minus 3 over 2 into brackets. Now let's write what is the last thing you can see there? You will see what? You will see 3y, right? So write 3y here. 3y. With that, you have what? You have 2 minus. Now let's expand this very bracket. It is what? 2 minus 2y. Now you have minus here and you have minus here. So if you multiply minus with minus, you would get what? You would get plus. So that will give us what? Plus. Now 2 times 3 will give us 6, right? So write 6 over 2 equals to what? Equals to 3y. Now to solve this very question, we have to what? Let's just add it together. If you add them together, okay, you can actually divide this. This would divide this to give us what? To give us 1, and this would divide it to give us what? 3. So that's telling us that we're actually having 2 plus 5 here, plus 3 here. That will give us what? That will give us 5. That will be equals to what? Equals to, if you take that very minus 2y to the other side, it will return to what? It will return to plus 2y. So that would that means we have what? We are having 5y, because 2y plus 3y would actually give us what? 5y. Now, if you actually divide this both sides by what? By 5. You actually divide both sides by 5, and also here by 5, you would have your answer to be what? To be y equals to what? Equals to 1. Now, let's actually, okay, we've actually gotten the value of y like this. So I would have to substitute the value of this very y into equation 4. Don't forget equation 4, this very equation we got the other time. Now, if you should write this very equation 4, you would have what? You would have x to be what? To be equals to y minus 3 over 2. Now, we've gotten our y to be what? To be 1, right? So 1 minus what? 3 raised to power 2. And that would give us, if you actually look for the SCM or anyhow, you would get your answer to be what? To be minus 1 over 2. Actually, in the year I got this very question, that's 2011, that's theory question 2b. We are actually told after this very thing to what? To get x plus y. And if you should try to get x plus y, you would that means it's what? 1 plus minus 1 over 2. Minus 1 over 2, yeah. So that would give you what? That will give you your answer to be what? 1 over 2. Alright, I would like you to study this very question. You will realize that there's nothing like x, y, z, n, and things like that. In this very question, you realize just plain numbers. You see 23 raised to power 2 over 3 and all that. So that was question number 12. This very question number 12 to what? To 19. But I want to tell you that the very question I solved the other time, that I solved from 1 to what? From 1 to 11 I solved the other time. You realize that you can see something like that. You can see x, you can see y and z. I got those questions from what? From Waec theory past questions. Though I still got maybe like 2 or 3 from objective questions, but most of them I got them from what? Theory questions. That's number 1 to 11. But now this number 12 to what? To 19. I got them. I got these very questions from what? From objective questions. Or yes. Every one of them. Just all the questions you can see here, you realize that what? They are objective questions, so that you will know how Waec set indices questions. Now, let's start from question number 12. You can see here. Now, the next thing we are going to do is just for us to study this very question. If you check this very question, this 8, it's still the same thing as what? 2 raised to power 3. You see, it is what? Raised to power 3. And this very 27 also, you see that what? It is what? 3 raised to power 3. This 64 also, you will see that what? It is what? 4 raised to power 3. So with this, we'll be able to get rid of this what? This very 3 here, this very 3 here, and this very 3 here. So let's see how we are going to solve that. Yes, to solve this, we are going to write that very 3 as what? 2 raised to power 3. 2 times 2 times 2 will give us 3, right? So into bracket, what do we can actually see 2 over 3 there, say. So don't forget that 2 over 3. Now, times what? Times this very 2. This 27, you can also write it as what? 3 raised to power 3. You understand? So you have 3 here, and you would also put into bracket minus 1 over what? Over 3 into bracket. Now, after we've done that, we'll divide all through. We'll divide all through by what? By the 64 raised to power what? 1 over 3. So that will give us 64. 4 times 4 times 4 will give us what? 64, right? So just write 4 raised to power 3. Then you would write what? Don't forget that 1 over what? Over 3. Now that's all. So now that we've done this, we can actually what? We can actually cancel the 3 out. That would give us this very 3 here would cancel this very 3 here. This very 3 here also would cancel this very 3 here. This very 3 also here would also cancel this very 3 here. So we'll be left with what? We'll be left with 2 whole number, 2 like 2 raised to power 2. Now we'll multiply that very 1 by what? By 3 raised to power what? 3 raised to power minus 1. So we'll divide all through. We divide all through by what? What do we have there? We have what? We have 4 left. So 4 raised to power 1 is still the same thing as 4. I can still write 4 raised to power 1. So that would give us what? So if you want to solve this, you can actually say, because if you expand that 2 raised to power 2, you would get what? You get 4, right? So 4 times what? Times 3 raised to power minus 1. So divide all through by what? By 4. So this very 4 would cancel this very 4 here. So we can just say 4 here 1, 4 here 1. So we'll be left with what? We'll be left with 3. So you can just say 3 raised to power minus 1. And I told you the other time that anytime you have 3 raised to power minus something, minus 1 or things like that, it's still the same thing as 1 over that very number. So you can just write 1 over 3. That's the final answer. Now, let's solve question number what? Question number 13. Now, what we are going to start with now is that what? We have 25 here, right? And we also have 25 here. So that's telling us that we can actually what? We can actually turn this divide into what? Into minus. If we don't have 21, if this place is 20, it's another thing entirely. But because we have 25 at the left, at the right, at this very side, and we also have 25 at this very side, so we can what? We can actually add, divide them, and we can actually multiply and all that together. So that will actually give us what? That will actually give us something like this. So we have 25 raised to power what? We have 25 raised to power, it is 2 over 3, right? So 2 over 3 would then add what? Would have to subtract 1 over 6. That very the division will turn to what? Will turn to minus, that will turn to what? Subtraction. So we divide all through by what? By 15. If you check that very 15 also, you say that what? There's 15 as minus 7 over 6, and also 15 as the what? The power of 1, like I said, 15. 1 over 5 as the power of minus 7 over 6, and another 1 over 5 as the power of what? 1 over 6. That's telling us that what? We can actually write 15 raised to power minus 7 over 6. Now, we'd add it as what? We'd add it with what? 1 over 6. Just note that we must have the same base before we can do this very question. Now, after we've done this, the next thing we are going to do is to what? Is to add this very thing we've actually written. So if you add them, you would have this very what? You would have 25 over. Now let's look for the LCM of 2 over 3 and then minus 1 over 6. That's what? The LCM is 6, right? So 6 divided by 3 would give us what? 2. So 2 times 2 will give us 4. So write 4 here. Now we'll have to what? Minus. So 6 divided by 6 will give us what? 1. So 1 times 1 will give us 1, right? So write 1 here. So that means we can actually, okay, let's divide first. Let's divide all through. So we divide all through by what? 1 over 5 into raised to power minus 7 over 6 and then 1 over 6. Because we have minus 7 over 6 and the second one is what? 1 over 6. So that means there's actually the same base here. We can add them directly. So that's what? Minus 7 plus 1. That will give us what? Minus 6. So you can just write 1 over 5 into brackets minus 6 over 6. Do you understand? So that would actually give us this. Would actually give us 25 whole number 3 over what? 3 over 6. Now divided by what? Divided by 1 over 5 into bracket 1. Because this very 6 bracket minus 1, I'm sorry, minus 1. Because this very 6, if you check this very 6, you will realize that you can actually divide it. You can actually divide this very 6 with each other. Divide 1 here 1, 6 here 1, 6 here also 1. So you would have what? You would have something like this. Now you can actually write this very 25. You can actually divide this 25 raised to power 3. 3 here 1, 3 here 2. So that will give us that one to be what? 25 raised to power 1 over 2. Now divided by what? Divided by into bracket 1 over 5 raised to power what? Raised to power minus 1. Now we can rewrite this. Don't forget that anytime we have minus 1, it's still the same thing as what? 1 over that number. I told you the other time, raised to power minus 1 is still the same thing as 1 over what? That number. Now let's rewrite it. We can actually rewrite it to be this. We'll write it to be this. Okay, we can actually say that 25 also should be 5 raised to power what? 5 raised to power 2. So just write 5 raised to power 2. Do you understand? So 5 raised to power 2 into brackets. We have 1 over 2 before. So we write 1 over 2. That 1 over 2. Don't forget 1 over 2. Then we'll divide all through by what? By this very one. It is still the same thing as 1 over 5. Now I was telling you the other time. So now let's write what? Let's write it to be equals to what? This very thing we wrote here will divide each other. Would have what? This very two will divide this very two here. You understand? So that means we'll be left with what? We'll be left with 5. So just write 5 here. 5, that will be 5 divided by what? Divided by 1/5. Now, with that, we can actually see this thing is what? This thing is okay, I want to do it very well. So that will be what? That will be 5 divided by what? Divided by 5. You know this thing is still the same thing as 5 divided by 5. Who agree? Do you agree with me? That's still the same thing as what? 5 divided by 5. So that is telling us that the answer to this very question will be what? Will be 5/5. And with that, I will get our answer to be 1. So you now see all the questions we've been solving since morning. See, I was telling you the other time, math is somehow. All the questions we've been solving since morning, it's just only one that we want to get as the final answer. See something. Kindly subscribe for more videos like this. Oh, I didn't say this. That very question number 12, I got it from 1998. That's the objective question 7. Why the question number 13, I got it from OBG. That's question number 6. Question number 3 of what? 2006. So understand that aspect. Now, I would try to what? I would ignore this number 14. I want someone to solve it and tell me the answer in the comment section. Now, let's continue with question number 15. Now, this very question number 15, we have what? We have 1 whole number, 1/4. I don't know. This one is also a bonus question. You already solve it. It's very simple. Now, let's see number 16. Number 16. Number 16. Number 16. That's 4 raised to power 1 minus 1/3. What we will just do here is to get an equal base. This one is very simple, so I think you should be able to solve this. Let's solve number 14. Let's solve number 17. Please do well to solve it and tell me the answer in the comment section. Now, question number 17. Now, to solve this very question 17, it's very simple. Just note that we have 16 here, right? So that very 16, you wrote. You make sure it is in. It has the same base as notice number 2, and it has the same base as number 3. But it's very simple. So let's see how we can solve it. Now, this very 16, you can actually write it as what? 2 raised to power 4. If you multiply if you multiply 2 in 4 places, you would get what? You would get 16. Now, you would input into brackets this very 5 and 4. Don't forget that. Now, with that, we would have to what? We have to multiply through by what? By this very 2 we've already gotten here. So 2 raised to power what? Minus 3. Now, times what? Times 3 raised to power 0. Actually, it's because of this very 3 raised to power 0 that I would like to solve this very question. Because of those that will not know how to solve questions like this. Now, after you've solved this, I want to tell you that what? This very 4 would cancel this very 4 here would cancel this very 4 here. So you will be left with what? You will be left with 2 raised to power 5 multiplied by what? 2 raised to power minus 3. Now, times what? Multiply by what? Multiply by 3 raised to power 0. Now, don't forget that we can actually what? Because of this very base, because we have 2 here and also have 2 here, we can actually rewrite this very question, and provided we have this very what? Multiplication here, we can actually write it as what? 2 raised to power 5 plus okay, it will be minus 3 plus minus 3. So that will give us what? 5 minus 3. Now, with that, we can actually write times 3 raised to power 0 will give us what? Anything raised to power 0. Let me now tell you. Anything raised to power 0. If it is 5 million raised to power 0, if it is 1 billion raised to power 0, I tell you, it's still what? It's still 1. It's not 0. Anything raised to power 0 in this life is what? Is 1. So note that. That is exactly what they are really trying to test here. So if you just understand this aspect, you will be able to solve this very question. So it equals to what? It equals to 1. So with that, you'll be able to write what? Able to write 2 raised to power 2 by 1. So that would give us what? That would give us our final answer to be what? To be 4. Because 2 raised to power 2 would give us 4, and 4 times 1 would give us what? Would give us this very 4. Now, let's solve question number 18. I expect you to solve this as well, but let me just solve it for you. Now, just like I said before, anytime you see anything raised to power minus 1 minus something, it's the same thing as what? 1 over that very thing. So you can just rewrite it to be what? To be 1 over, now let's write it 0.027. Now don't forget the what we have there. We have what? 1 over 3. It's just the minus that changed the whole thing. Now, after you've written this, the next thing we are going to do is to what? This very 3 is still the same thing as what? It's still the same thing as that 1 over 3 is still the same thing as what? The root, the cube root. It's not even the square root. Is what? Is the cube root. That 3 is what? The cube root of what? 0.027. So that would give us 1 over, okay, let me write it here. That would give us 1 over cube root of what? 0.027. Now, if you try to multiply 0.3 times that same 0.3 again, you will multiply it again with what? 0.3. You will realize that you will get something like this. You will get 0.027. So that's telling us that we can actually write this to be what? To be 1 over 0.3. Now, I want you to understand this, that anytime we have 1 over 0.3, you can actually make use of these very points and what? Take that very point out of that very side. If you take it to this very side, you have what? You have 3. Yeah, that's not a decimal again. And don't forget that there is an invisible dot here. So anything you do to the what? To the denominator, you must do to the numerator. Anything you do to the numerator, you must do to what? The denominator. So we have to what? Shift this very side with one side as well. So if you shift it, you get what? You get 10 here. So that's telling us that what? You have to actually having 10 over what? Over 3 here. Now, that means our answer to this very question will be what? 3.33 to the end. 3, or you can actually have 3 raised to power 1 over 3 whole number 1 over 3 as your final answer. I hope you've subscribed. I pray God will help you guys to score very well in your examination. Let's move to the next question. Now, the last question is number 19. I expect you to be able to solve this very number 19, but let's just see. Let me help you guys to solve it. But don't forget to solve those ones I gave you to solve. Now, to solve this very question, we have 5 whole number or 2 over 5, right? Let's change that very improper fraction into mixed fraction. So that will give us 5 times 5. 5 times 5 will give us what? 25. So 25 plus 2 would give us what? 27. So write 27 over what? Over 5. So after that, don't forget multiplication. Now you write 2 over what? Over 3. Now into what? Into bracket. What is it? It's raised to power what? It's raised to power 2. So write 2 here. Now divided by what? What is it divided by? It is divided by you see this very one also. You see that what? It's mixed fraction. So you can actually change it to what? Improper fraction. To an improper fraction. So that will give us 2 times 2. That's 2, right? So add 1 to that very 2. You will get what? You get 3. So 3 over 2 into brackets. So into brackets, what can you see on that very thing? You can see what? Minus 1. So now you can actually write this to be what? To be 27 over 5. Now times what? Times, if you actually check this, you will see that what? It is what? 2 over 3 raised to power 2, right? So I can rewrite it as what? 2 times 2. Like the 2 would have square, and also the 3 also would have what? The 3 also would have square. So with that, I can say that what? It's divided by what? Don't forget, anytime we have something raised to power minus 1, it's still the same thing as what? 1 over that very thing. So I can just try to what? To write it by what? By flipping it. That will be 2 over 3. And I've gotten the answer to this very question. So with that, I can write it to be what? 27 over 5. So I will multiply it by what? I will multiply that 27 over 5 by 2 times 2 will give us 4, right? So write 4 here. And 3 times 3 will give us 9, right? Write 9 here. Now you have divide, right? So I can change that very divide also to what? To multiplication sign. So that will give me what? Multiply by what? By 3 over 2. I will have to what? I will have to flip this very thing. I will change where you have 3. I will take 3 to what? To the top, and I will bring 2 also to the what? I will change that very 2 to what? To be a denominator. So now if I should solve this, I can actually divide this very 27 by 9. So that will be 9 year 1, 9 year 3. So write 3 there. And 2 year 1, 2 year 2. So that would give me 3 times 2 which would be 6. And 6 times 3 would give me what? 6 times 3 would give me 18. So that would be what? 18 over what? 18 over 5. Now to solve this very 18 over 5, my answer will be 3 whole number. 3 whole number what? 3 whole number 3 over 5. Or I should have something like 3 whole number 0.60. You can anyhow, but that's the very answer. Thank you for watching this very video to the very end. Please, if you need videos like this, click the card you can see on the screen right now. It has many topics I've solved on mathematics. Please, if you've not subscribed, click the red subscribe button and the notification bell so that you will not miss our videos. Don't also forget to invite your friends. Don't forget, the name of this very channel is Do You Know AGF?